Today I'm going to make my HolidayBerry soap with the Crafter's Choice Spiced Cranberry fragrance, which is just an amazing scent. I love having the soap. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the Tiger Swirl or the Hanger Swirl. So it'll depend on if the soap accelerates while I'm making it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. My soap, my oils, and my lye are within 10 degrees of each other. So I had to warm up my oils this morning because I mixed them yesterday and we're having some really rainy weather, which is cooler for our area, and everything was a little too cool this morning. Before I stick blend the oils and the lye, I'm going to separate it into two other containers, keep a third portion in the first white container there. I'm going to color the two smaller containers with the green and the rose colored micas, and then I'm going to leave the third one, the larger portion, natural. Sometimes people like to color or whiten the soap, the base color soap, with titanium dioxide, but I don't have any of that right now. So I'm going to leave it natural, and I'm not going to put as much fragrance oil in it because sometimes the fragrance oil, if it contains vanilla, will darken the soap, so I want it to be as light as possible. It will turn out lighter than it looks right now, that oil color. So then I'm going to stick blend. With the stick blending, you have to be really careful, especially when these containers are as full as they are, that it doesn't splatter. And be careful that you don't put too much air down inside the soap. You make a lot of bubbles. Adding in the fragrance oil now, using 3 ounces of the spiced cranberry. And the majority of it's going to go into the two colors, like I said, because I don't want the white color to get too dark in this process. I'm going to get those all nice and blended, mixed in, but hopefully at this point I'm hoping it doesn't get too thick too fast, because I still want to have the flexibility to pour an interesting design. And if the soap gets too thick, which it does with too much mixing, or the fragrance oil can also accelerate the thickening, then that makes it harder to get a nice design if you're going for something specific. The green is thickening up. White not too much. The pink's doing okay. So put these aside. I'll bring my mold in, and I'll start with some white on the bottom. Looks like we're liquid enough still to do Tiger Swirl. Oh, not sure about this one though. Yep, our pink's thickening up too. What you're trying to do with this technique is to pour basically in the same line you poured before, and to kind of get the soap to push that line down and out of the way. And you'll see when we cut it that makes kind of pushes the colors up and out of the way. It makes a really pretty different kind of swirl. All right. for some extra in this mold here. I'm not going to use this in my big one, but I think I am going to use it in the small one here. So for the hanger swirl, down, up, down, and up, down, and up. And that's it. When you're first starting out with soap, sometimes you get really nervous when it starts to accelerate. And if you had a plan for what you were going to do, it doesn't look like it's going to work. After you've been doing it a while, you usually have a few ideas in the back of your mind for how you're going to fix it and make it work anyway. And it usually turns out just fine. Even if you have to push the soap in there, you can't do a pretty pattern, at least it's probably still going to work like soap. Clean this up a little, go back and swirl. There are many techniques for decorating the top of your soap. Sometimes I use a spoon or a fork, or like here, a chopstick. Swirl it, or just make a design with the fork drug through the top of the soap, or pile it all up in the middle. There's lots of different things you can do. And really, you just have to get in there and experiment on different soaps and see what you like and how different things react in the soap. This is one of my favorites, and it's really easy. If you have a couple of colors, then it just kind of gently swirls them together and usually turns out pretty nice. So I've been pretty fond of this method. I like to drag my chopstick along the edges when I'm done to sometimes just kind of drag back in the soap that's creeping up on the edges, kind of clean it up a little bit. There you go. And spray it a little bit on top. Actually, a lot of shimmer because, hey, it's Christmas. So there you go. I'm going to cover this up with a cloth, bring you back tomorrow to cut it and see what our swirls end up looking like. Alright, so it's the next morning and I am unmolding my HolidayBerry soap. It smells amazing. For my wooden soap mold, I use wax paper at the ends, and then I have a silicone baking mat that I use to keep the soap from sticking in my wooden mold. It works really well. Out here where I live, I'm not able to get wax paper, that sort of thing, very easily, so it's really helpful to have something reusable. It's a really solid bar of soap right now, loaf of soap, but it will still need a cure for a few more weeks after this to become nice and hard, and that will make the bar last longer when you use it.
when it starts getting wet. So there is our tiger swirl, and it looks just beautiful. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Whenever I'm making soap, I sometimes kind of doubt the result, and I'm almost always pleased with how things turn out. And I always also see better ways I can do things I can do to improve next time. So I'm looking forward to trying this again and trying a couple of new techniques.